I know. Listen, we're live on YouTube. We're gonna have tonight is a very special shir. Be'ezer Hashem, it's a 4-hour shir. I mean, you guys go tell your wives right now, it's a 4-hour shir. My shir is probably going to be only 45 minutes or so, but it's a 4-hour shir for all purposes. This is a 4-hour shir. There's no whoever joined now doesn't have to help their wives at all for Pesach. How's Yontav? Everything was good. Everybody's great. Gained a couple of pounds. Baruch Hashem. All right, a couple of emails here. What's that? Oh, everybody got muted. We're ready to go. Good vach, Eli Kamiansky.
Eli, higher your mic because it's not so clear.
All right. First of all, I just want to say that we have a major problem. We have to fix this issue. Maybe Gershon, you come over when it's legal to my house and fix the YouTube issue. The YouTube is not uploading for many hours. By the way, that looks very crooked, that YouTube. So make sure it's straight. It looks completely off. All right. It's crooked. Fine. Anyway, the YouTube is not uploading for 12 hours or so. It used to take like a couple of minutes after she would upload immediately, and people are complaining. I don't know what the issue is.
I think it's not a Eli problem. It's more of a YouTube problem.
It doesn't make sense that all of a sudden something like that would change for a week. They would get it going, and every day it's the same thing. It takes at least 12 hours. Fine.
They're saying because of COVID-19, there's been a really ramp up.
But that happened. The COVID-19 didn't start a week ago. This whole thing just started a week ago. So, I don't know.
Yes,
I don't think it's an issue.
COVID-19, nothing to do with you.
Okay. I'm going to try another phone. Maybe whatever. We'll figure something out. This is from Joel Pollack. Thank you for mentioning my article. I missed the mention because I was putting my kids to bed to give my hard-working wife a break, and I watched the shir 1 hour late. Terrible. Rabbi Say, this guy, he's probably a rookie. There's no such thing as helping your wife instead of the daf. I mean, that's why we're all here now. There's 80 people on Zoom because we don't want to help our wives. You're not supposed to help your wives. What's going on here? Unbelievable. Fine. Be'ezer Hashem, Joel, listen, a few more weeks and you'll chop the whole thing. Nervayim. I don't know what to tell this guy. Thank you for all that you do. It's wonderful to have this regular shir to guide us through the daf. Dave Hagal, you guys know who Dave Hagal is. He's our good friend who came to visit us many times, 4 or 5 times from California. He's our surfer dude from California. Dave Hagal brought me in last year. Oh, so he's old. He's not a rookie. Wow. Okay. One day we'll remember this hard time and remember that the study of Daf Yomi carried us through. Blessings and strength to you and to all who sponsor the Daf. And then he goes on to say that he would like to sponsor Mo'adin L'Simcha. So Joel Pollack wrote a beautiful article. Bart Bright, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. It's one of those. Why such a tough name? Beautiful article. Man, you guys should check it out. I don't think I posted it yet. Somebody posted. It's great stuff. Anyway, so that was him. And this one is Menashe Efron. I attended Yeshua for 2 weeks last May while visiting my new granddaughter in RBS. He welcomed me as a landsman by telling me you catered my son's wedding in Chicago 15 years ago. Since that time, I do tune in frequently, but as there are many excellent Daf Yomi Shurim here in Baltimore, I prefer the live audience. Another rookie. Ay, Naira. When I feel I need to hear a given daf again or now during quarantine, your share is bookmarked as one of my top 3 go-to shiurim. What is with this guy? Nair v'ayim. First he goes to live shiurim, then I'm one of his 3 shiurim. I was impressed but not surprised to see your share go from another mistake, from 20 guys to 2,000. We were never 20. Baruch Hashem, we were never 20. And we're not 2,000, we're 3,000. But okay. Your 8-minute daf review is on OU's prestigious daf. Okay, yeah, I know that. Okay, Ishkoyach. This month I have reviewed all of themselves brachas using the 8-minute daf review. My intent is to stay 2 weeks behind. From listening to the reviews, I learned you have joined the Zaidi Club. Yes, Admei Esrim, Ishkoyach. Wishing you, listen, I'm getting desperate. I'm running out of emails.
2 weeks behind. He's more like 6 months behind.
I don't know. No, I think on the regular daf, I don't know what this guy. There's a lot of kashas here on this. This is one of these emails has a lot of kashas. Okay. Wishing you and your oilam. You guys remember Menashe Ephron spent 2 weeks with us. He says, I kind of recall. Wishing you and your oilam and Klal Yisrael good health, long, healthy, meaningful life, success in learning, and greater simchas yontif than you envision. Menashe Ephron. Givaldik. Okay, now let's go learn some Torah. Okay, we're holding Daf Mem. Let me say that again. Daf Mem. We just started Masechta Shabbos. And we're already holding in Daf Mem. Not too bad. Only four months left. Unbelievable. Itmar. Top of Daf Mem, 4 lines down. Cham and Shucham Umerev Shabbos. You have hot water that was heated up before Shabbos. Now, let's go back. It would be a literal shame if I made all this just for one day. So we got to go through this again. We had yesterday that according to everybody, if you heat up water Erev Shabbos, you're not allowed to take a bath with it. You're not allowed to be roichetz, rechitza, in a bath. Asur, even if you heat it up before Shabbos. This is not a problem. Now, what about a shower? A bath, asur. Shower, we have 3 machloikos. Comes out to, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that it's also paskin like Rabbi Yehuda, hot water that was heated up before Shabbos, huchamer Shabbos, hot water, asur. Right? So that's Rabbi Yehuda, and we paskin like Rabbi Yehuda, we said he's the compromise, that's the shita. Says Rav, based on that, l'macha roichetz bem kol gufoy aver. He has a trick. You could take a shower if you wash each body part by itself. Each limb by limb. Shmuel says, no, that's back to this halacha of panav yadav raglav. That even Beishamai we said holds that if you heat up water on Yontif, you're allowed to use it even on Yontif itself. If you heat up the water for food, you use it for your bath, for your shower. So Shmuel says, no, only panav yadav raglav, only your face, your hands, and your feet. Meisvei. So the first question, and we're going to go back to this question, so try to remember it for a second. Chamim shucham umerev Shabbos. If our case, you have hot water that was heated up before Shabbos, the following day on Shabbos, you're allowed to wash your face, your hands, and your feet. So what's the question here? We'll understand the question a little bit more soon. Rav says that you're allowed to wash your entire body limb by limb. Is that what it says here in this brisa? The brisa says you cannot wash your whole body. You cannot wash your whole body, and you could only wash your hands, feet, and face. If the brisa held like Rav, the brisa should say you can wash any part of your body you want, as long as you don't wash your whole body. That's not what the brisa says. The brisa says there are 3 exceptions: the face, hands, and feet. Tiyufta the Rav. It's a good kasha on Rav. Amalach Rav, loy kol gufi b'vasachas elo ever. So initially, when you see the Gemara's kasha, I explained it a little bit stronger. But initially, when you see the Gemara's kasha, this is an obvious teretz. It doesn't say in the brisa that you can't do what Rav says. It says in the brisa, don't wash your entire body. But Rav doesn't say you're washing your whole body. Rav says it differently. Rav says you're washing your whole body, aver, limb by limb. So perhaps that's okay in the brisa. Says the Gemara, "V'panav yadav v'raglav tani." So that's what the Gemara wants. Not from the kol gufay, but from the beginning, that it says that you can only wash your hand, face, and feet. The brisa should say much stronger. If Rav is right, the brisa should say you can wash any body part you want as long as you don't wash your whole body. Why does the brisa limit it to 3 parts of your body? It seems like from the brisa that those are the only 3 parts you let it wash. Says Rav, I'll explain it to you. Ke'ein panav yadav v'raglav. What the brisa is not limiting to 3 body parts. The brisa is saying any body part. You want to wash your back, wash it exactly like you wash your hands, feet, and face. It's the description, how to wash it. It's not limiting to those 3 body parts. By the way, you see, there's only like 78 people on Zoom. That means there are people out there that said not tonight. Unbelievable. I don't blame them, actually. I can't believe that there are so many people on Zoom right now. When it's Matzei Pesach is known. This is when you go and you put all the stuff back in the baidim and this. All right? Kol hakavod for everybody that's on. Kol hakavod for everybody that's helping the wife. It's unbelievable. All right, Tashma. Another raya. Also, we're going to go back to this raya. Why? Because pretty soon we're going to have another Rav, a Girsa of Rabbah, and the Gemara says that these questions are very good questions on Rav. Tashma. Lo yitiru lirchos b'chamim shucham u'merev Shabbos elo ponov yodav v'raglov. It says that there's no heter to use hot water that was heated before Shabbos. Elo ponov yodav v'raglov. So we have to say, Hachanami came ponov yodav v'raglov. Same kasha, same answer. Thank you, Shmuel. Right? So another brayso that says only hands, feet, and face. We have to say it doesn't literally mean hand, feet. It's not three. It's your entire body as long as you don't wash your whole body. Fine. Thank you, Shmuel. But Shmuel is the one that says only your face, hands, and feet. It says in the brayso literally like Shmuel. Cham shuchum u'merev Shabbos. You have hot water that was heated before Shabbos. L'macha roichetz b'hem ponov yodav v'raglov. Avaloi kol gufoi aver. It says specifically, do not do what Rav says. Rav says it's okay to wash one body part at a time as long as you don't wash them all together. It says mufurish in the brayso, avaloi kol gufoi aver. You cannot wash limb by limb. And certainly if the water is heated up on Yontiv. Anyways, great raya to Shmuel. So that's the end of that story. Now the Gemara says, wait a minute. Rabba masila lo shmaitza de Rav b'hailishna. Rabba had it of learning Rav. Chamin shucham u'merev Shabbos. If you have hot water that was heated up on Friday, lemachar on Shabbos, amarav roichetz b'hem kol gufay u'meshayir. A beautiful picture of a dog is this halacha right here. He's in the bath, but he leaves out one aver. He left out one limb. You do this according to Rabbah in Rav, that's okay. In other words, Rabbah in Rav holds that you don't have to do limb by limb. You can wash your whole body, but you have to extend. You have to make sure that your one hand is sticking out. As long as you leave one leg, one foot, whatever, outside, that's okay. Eisvei kol hani tiyufta. So the Gemara says, okay, now we have to go back and ask the question. So let's go back to one. The first question, if I have water that's heated up before Shabbos, panav yodav v'raglov, I could only wash face, hand, and feet. I'm just going backwards, 10 lines, if you're looking for me. You cannot wash your whole body to the Rav. Now over here, you cannot answer what we answered before, that's like panav yodav v'raglov. Panav yodav v'raglov means one limb at a time. But that's not what Rav is saying now. Rav is saying wash your whole body, just stick one limb out. That has nothing to do with panav yodav v'raglov. So I can't answer the answer I had before. We have a brayso that says not like Rav. You're not allowed to wash your whole body. The only body parts you're allowed to wash is your face and your hand and your foot. That's it. Certainly not your whole body, extending one body part out of the bathtub. Tiyufta. Fine. So that's the end of that sugya. Only Rav Yosef la Abaya. Rav Yosef tells Abaya. Now, I want to remind you the last Amud in Masechtas Brachos. We had a beautiful story over there of Rabbah and Rav Yosef. They go together, those two. Rabbah and Rav Yosef. Rabbah was. What are you showing me? YouTube is no good? Is YouTube okay? It's good?
Okay, so the YouTube is frozen. It's come back now, but it's frozen for a while. We can still hear you. But it's now back. You did something.
So Meir's not watching it. It's what happened? What was on the screen? Something's on the screen? That's the problem. Hold on. 1 second. Yeah, because there's here. Take this. This. Yeah, there was a message that the battery is running low and it probably froze it up, unfortunately. Yeah, make sure you look at it. Fine. So the question is if it didn't record that whole thing. YouTube. We got to go away from that. All right. So Rabbi and Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef is Sinai. He knows everything, and Rav Yosef and Rabbi was Oiker Harim. He was a Lamdan. He knew how to be Oiker Harim, and he said, remember that story that the Rabbi was the Rosh Yeshiva for 20 years, and then Rav Yosef came along and he was a Rosh Yeshiva, I think it was 20 or 22 years, and then Rav Yosef was two and a half years. He pushed it off because he knew the stargazers told him he's only going to be a Rosh Yeshiva for 2.5 years, so he didn't want to die then, be Rosh Yeshiva for 2.5 years and die. He said, let Rabbi be the Rosh Yeshiva first, and then I'll be the Rosh Yeshiva. But they went together. Says the Gemara, I'm just reminding that it might be important for our sugi here. Amalei Rav Yosef L'Abaya, Rabba, Mi ka'aved kishmaitzi de Rav. So Rav Yosef asks Abaya, Rabba, who's Rabba bar Nachmeni, and you remember the other day we learned that Abaya's name was Nachmeni because of Rabba, who took care of him. Abaya was a Yasam, and he basically grew up in Rabba's house. So Rav Yosef is asking Abaya, how did Rabba, his bar machlokes, it's Rabbi and Rav Yosef, they were both supposed to be Rosh Yeshivas, they were both the Gdei Ador. How did Rabbi act? Did Rabbi take, because Rabbi is the one that said that you could take a bath with hot water that was heated from Friday if you extend one aver out, in Rav. So did Rabbi take that literally? Did Rabbi take baths on Shabbos? Did he take a bath on Shabbos extending one aver out? I don't know. Meaning, I guess, I never saw him in the bath. I don't know. I don't know how he did it. I don't know. Says the Gemara, Maiti Boilei. What's the question at all? Let's figure it out ourselves. Pshita deloy ovid. It's obvious that Rabbi did not take a bath and stick one aver outside of the bath. Doi toisav. Look, our Gemara asks two questions from the Brises, and the Gemara says that these are very good questions on Rav, and Rabba is the one that said that Rav said stick one aver out, and that went bye-bye with the two questions. So it's impossible that Rabba took a bath with extending one aver outside of the bath. Says the Gemara, Lo Shemiele. Rabba didn't hear the two questions, but Rav Yosef heard the two questions. That's why I think that it's after Rabba was nifter, maybe, in those 2.5 years that Rav Yosef was the Rosh Yeshiva. I'm just throwing it out there. How's it possible? Rav Yosef heard about it, Rabba didn't hear about it. Perhaps it's in those 2.5 years. V'lo Shmielei v'adei Ovid. Now, says the Gemara, this makes a lot of sense to us right now. Rabba, had he not heard a question on Rav, he would have obviously done exactly like Rav said. And that means he would take a bath on Shabbos, as long as you extend 1 foot outside of the bathtub, 1 hand outside of the bathtub, and you take a bath. Why? Abaya is talking about Rabba. He calls him Mar. Everything Rabba did was exactly like Rav. By the way, we're getting to a point now where in Shabbos Daf Mem, in the last few days, we're already quoting Gemaras that we had already in Shas, from Brachas. We had Kulei Matlaniyos, right? Where everything goes, just yesterday, the other day, all of Shas, we go with the middle Shita, the compromise, besides Kulei Matlaniyos, which was a Suga and Daf Chaf. And we have Rabbi and Rav Yosef. We have here also, we had this, that Rabba always did exactly like Rav. Bar Mahanit Las David Kishmuel. And we had this sugya in our Masechet in Shabbos, only 20 days ago. Matilin mi beged lebeged. You could take tzitzis off of one garment and put it on another garment. It's not a bezayin for the first garment. Umadliki miner liner. And you could light Chanukah candles. Remember the whole sugya of Chanukah in Daf Chav Beis over there. You could take one Chanukah candle and light another one. V'halacha Reb Shimon begreira. And the halacha is like Reb Shimon, b'davar she'ein miskaven, if you don't mean to make a guma, like this picture, the halacha is like Reb Shimon. That what? I'm dragging a very heavy bench, and it might make a hole in the ground, but it might not. Davar she'ein miskaven. I don't want the hole. I want the bench. So I'm allowed to drag it. So besides these three things, he passing like Rav in everything. So Memei passing like Rav when it comes to a bathtub, extending his hand. He didn't hear about the tiyuftas on Rav, and therefore he's going to go like his Rebbe, Rav. Says Gemara, that's not a good raya. Perhaps Rabbo does everything like Rav. Rabbo did everything l'chumra. But who says that when it comes to a kula, like taking a bath on Shabbos, that you extend one hand, maybe Rabbo was makbid on himself and not to do like Rav. So we don't have a raya one way or another how Rabbo acted himself in this case of taking a bath on Shabbos with water that was heated up on Erev Shabbos. Tana Rabbanan, Merchat shepakaku nekava Erev Shabbos. You have a picture from Pirush Chai. So here's the bathtub. Here's the heat underneath. And there's two pshatim in Rashi. Either he doesn't let the heat escape, or the pshat is he's plugging these guys up. You see the two lids over here. He puts the lids on top of the fires before Shabbos. So the Mbati didn't get any heat whatsoever on Shabbos. All the heat it got was from Erev Shabbos. Merchat shepakaku nekav of Erev Shabbos. You have a bathhouse that was plugged up before Shabbos. L'mitzvah Shabbos roichetz b'miyad. So that's even the halacha that we touched upon the other day. It's called b'chdei shiyasu. If a person performs a malacha on Shabbos, so we penalize him. We say he cannot use whatever he did. He baked a cake, he can't eat it. It depends him, other people. But b'chdei shiyasu, the concept of you have to wait Motzei Shabbos for however long it takes to bake a cake. So the halacha over here is, since he didn't do anything on Shabbos, there's no heat created on Shabbos, he plugged whatever he had to plug, either Pshat and Rashi. Therefore, Motzei Shabbos comes, as soon as Havdalah is over, he jumps into the bath. He doesn't have to wait until it takes whatever it takes to heat up a bathtub. If he did the same thing before Yantav, Lemachar, this is different. On Yantav itself, you don't have to wait for Motzei Shabbos. On Yantav itself, Nichnas u'meziyah. Taisus points out immediately that this applies to Shabbos as well. You're allowed to go into a shvitz that was heated up before Shabbos. Not use a bath. But over here we're talking about on Yantav, you're not taking a bath. You're going in lahaziyah, you're going into shvitz. And we pointed out the other day, Taisus Dibra Maskul Beis Hillel, that shvitz is more of a refuah, it's brios, whereas taking a bath is an ishav l'chol nefesh. And I even saw today that somebody not quotes Taisus, but he was saying that Einoi in the, where did I see it? I saw it in the Dirshu Mishnah Brura. He says that showers are not important. It's not shav l'chol nefesh. Some people like showers, some people don't, so it's not considered shav l'chol nefesh. Like basically Taisus. He got it from Taisus, I guess. And then listen to this. A guy heats up the shvitz before Shabbos. He has a way to heat it up before Shabbos, before Yontif. He goes in on Yontif. And then he goes out and he takes a shower on Yontif in the outer room. Not in the actual merchatz room, not in the mikveh room, but in the outer room. Remember, we once had, I'm not going to get it now, but there was 3 rooms. There's an inner, outer, where you're allowed to talk Torah. That was in Masechtas Brachas, I think. You could talk Torah in this room, you can't talk Torah in this. Take off the tefillin, don't take off the tefillin. Maybe it was in Shabbos, I don't even remember anymore. I think it is in Shabbos. Anyway, so, but the outer room, not with the bath, so nobody's going to think, b'choshid you, that you took now a shower on Shabbos, a bath on Shabbos, but a shower you're allowed to. Omer Rav Yehuda, Maisa b'merchat shel Bnei Brak. It's talking about Bnei Brak, and it's the same. No, don't talk about Bnei Brak. Time out. He's saying time out. Oh, he wants to sing a song. I know what he wants. David Feinberg wants to sing a song about Maisa b'Bnei Brak. It's too late. It's not Pesach anymore. Anyways, we said in that Agada, Maisa b'Bnei Brak. It's the same Talmidei Chachamim from that story in Bnei Brak. By the way, when I was a kid, I lived in Bnei Brak for 3 years. I moved from Brooklyn, I lived in Flatbush, to Bnei Brak. And one of the things, my father was very makbid on mikvah. I mentioned we built a mikvah in our house when we moved back to America.
Ellie, you're not looking at the chat. We're all trying to ask the same thing.
Yeah, what?
You're telling there are two pshatim in Rashi,
Yeah.
and you only say one of them. You want to understand what the other pshat of Rashi would be. Part of the heat.
What? I explained both, no? I explain.
You explain one pshat in Rashi, not the other.
Why? I explained both. Here's pkak. He's trapping the heat of the room in the room. And over here, pak. These are here, you see right over here, these are the two lids, and they cover these two fires. This is a fire underneath. He's just making sure that the fire doesn't emit any heat during Shabbos. But he's not trapping the heat. Over here, he's trapping heat versus what?
The second shot you explained, the first one with the windows on top. How does that work? That as far as the heat, as far as why it's okay.
Because he didn't increase heat. He didn't increase heat. The heat was there before Shabbos. He just trapped it in the room. It doesn't increase heat. He's just trapping the heat, whatever was there before Shabbos. Yeah? David, question for you. Since you're not, you're muted already. How many days did you miss Daf Yomi since Brachas? I want to say 0. Am I right?
There's one time that I missed, 2 times that I missed almost a Shabbos, and I watched it an hour later when I got home.
Okay, fine. Very good. I'm very proud of you. Seriously. Halavai, everybody should be so medactic. That's very chashuv. That's because we're over 100 days in. Okay, so you made at least 100 days. That's the point. Okay, very nice. Beautiful. And you're a new guy. You're from Brachas. It's unbelievable. You should be Zoicha to be Mamshech all the way to our cruise, Mesechtes Nida. Very good. Now, so I was saying that when I lived in Bnei Brak, my father used to take me to the mikvah on Friday, but there's a special mikvah, and it's there till this very day. It's called the Chavetz Chaim mikvah. It's many, many rooms, private mikvahs. Each person could just go into a private mikvah, and I don't think that's the one that they're talking about, but just remind me, Maisa b'merchat shel Bnei Brak. This is what? No, you can't go with the father. But we had a little shtick. We were able to, he went in, I went in, we got permission. It was private. And then as a gronik, my father always went every day. Even on Shabbos, he'd go to the mikvah. Not be careful with tzchita, the whole thing, but that's why we built a mikvah in our house. Because he's a gronik. Not because he's Hasidish, he's gronik. Believe it, the Hasidim, the groniks, they do a lot of stuff the same. Omar Rav Yehuda, Maisa b'merchatz shel Bnei Brak. They put these lids on, either over the fire or by the windows, whatever it is. L'mochar nichnas Reb Elazar ben Azariah, harei kivem shivim shana, Reb Akiva v'ziu boy. So on Yontif they went in and they took a shvitz. They did the steam room. V'yatzu v'nishtatu b'beis hachitzon. So they did exactly what the Brisa says. That after you go to the steam room, you take a nice shower. Where? Not in that room. You have to make a heker. You do it in the other room. So now we have a little machlokes. Does the actual pit, all the hot water, does it have to be covered or not? So they said, yeah. The water that they had was in another vessel. So nobody should be choishish that it heated up from the main mikvah. Everything, the hot water, the pit, was covered with wood. Chachamim argue, the bottom line is, Tanoim, one of the greatest people that ever lived, Rebbe Akiva, took a nice schwitz. What is it called in English again? I said the word before. Sauna, like a sauna on Yontif, and he took a shower in the other room. Fine. Says the Gemara, but wait a minute. When the Bali Aveira started increasing, they started saying no more shvitz, no more this, and the Gemara explains. And Bat Yoshel Krachim, in the cities, they had these beautiful mikvahs. Like I don't know if you ever went to Bet. You know, you have 3 pits. One is super hot, and you have the medium and the not so, and it's beautiful stuff going on over there. So if you go to the real cities, so you could walk, let's say it's a shortcut, you could walk through the Beis HaMerchatz on Yontif. Nobody's going to be choshesh, Mitayel ben and choshesh. Nobody's going to say, oh, you took a shower. You took a bath over there. I think Gemara is going to talk a little bit about it soon. What does it mean these people are avaryonim? Mishum Belevi, Mishum Bar Kapara, Betchila Hoyeroichatzim Becham Meshucham Umer Shabbos. Everybody did the right thing. They heated up the water before Shabbos and they bathed themselves. These mikvah guys, the guys in charge of the mikvah, they still use that word in Hebrew today. Balanim, balaniyot. The balanim lahachim b'Shabbos. They started heating the water up on Shabbos. So the Rashba brings the Yerushalmi and says, what do you mean? What? The Mechal Shabbos? It doesn't make sense. How does a guy go from being in charge of the mikvah to all of a sudden be Mechal Shabbos? So the Yerushalmi says it's not what happened. They just increased the wood and the heat before Shabbos. And that's also because Shema Yichata. It's a problem of Shema Yichata. But not mamish, oh, the guy lit a match on Shabbos. He didn't make a fire on Shabbos. That's how the Yerushalmi learns. But there was still shkatzim. Why? Because Chacham said, don't do it, and they did it anyways, and they lied. They said, oh, Erev Shabbos. Asru is a chamin. So then they said, it's also to take a hot bath. V'tir sazeh, and they said that a shvitz is mutter. But people didn't care, they didn't listen to Chachamim, and they kept on taking baths. When they were caught, like these guys, I saw a guy, I was in the middle of davening, I shouldn't have been looking at my siddur. I see a guy running with his kids, running like 100 miles an hour, as if he just stole something. And sure enough, I see the cops behind him, and he goes he's running away. So, people, the cops come. What are you doing? I'm going to buy food, but it's Yontif. The stores are closed today. Whatever. So he says, they catch him. What are you doing? I'm taking a schwitz. I'm not in the bath. I'm just schwitzing here. I'm in the sauna. So these guys were Oiber Chachams. They said, you know what? You're not allowed to schwitz. No more schwitzing, no more baths, no more anything. So all these things, these xeris that we have, is because people were making shtick. We have to suffer today because they're shtick machers. So no more baths, no more schwitz. V'tiru chamei Tveria. So at this point, you see how it kept on going. You see there was a history. It didn't happen in one day. There's a history. They said, you know what? Natural hot springs are mutter. Okay? You see a guy coming beautiful, his hair is nice, combed, his beard, everything's geschmack. What are you doing? I was in Chamei Tveria. But Chamei Tveria is 25 miles away. No, I was in Chamei Tveria. So that's the problem. People took advantage. They said Chamei Tveria is mutter, but they were taking real baths. And they were lying. And then it became, the Chamei Tveria also became also. But they said, you allowed to take, look, Chachamim kept on like giving a little bit. They kept on making Yisurim, but you allowed to do cold. Nobody's listening. So they said, okay, we'll take back a little bit. You could use Chamei Tveria. But Schwitz is awesome. So the bottom line is, I don't understand this 100%, because these guys in Tveria had the hot springs. Yerushalayim, we know for a fact, doesn't have hot springs. Because the Gemara says that there's no hot springs in Yerushalayim because we don't want the Oiler Regalim to come there and say, oh, if it was just for the hot springs, it was worth coming here. So I know that there was no hot springs in Yerushalayim. So what about all the people that live in Yerushalayim? The Gemara is so concerned about these Tveria people. I don't know. Maybe it's just psychological. If I say 100% Asr, then I'm going to break it. But if I tell you, look, it's not 100% Asr. If you go to Tveria, it's okay. I know you don't live there. You live 100 miles away. But I'm not making everything Asr. I'm not such a machmer. Don't think I'm such a tzaddik. Just whatever. Chamei Tveria is okay. I don't know. Omar Rava, Hayman the Ovar Adirabanon. if you break a Rabbanan rule, Shari Lemikri Le Avaryano, you're allowed to call him an Avaryan. It's very interesting, Allah. You're allowed to call him an Avaryan. You want him to do tshuva, you want him to be scared, you don't want him to be over on the Rabbanans. Kiman, Kaitana. Look, we just learned. Over Avera. The Gemara calls him an Over Avera. Even though it's a Rabbanan. So you call him an Over Avera. Daf Mem Amud Beis. The Chavetz Chaim actually talks about it. He brings this Gemara as a raya. So we learned that in a bathhouse, in the big city, since it's so big, you could walk through it and you don't have to worry about it. Omar Rava, Dafke Krachim, only in the big cities, Avad Kfarim, but in the small places, Loi, Maitaimo, Kivin the Zutrin, Nafish Avlayu. Since they're small, you're going to benefit from it. There's a lot of heat. It's as if you're walking through a Schwitz, Asur. Tanura Bonon, Mischamem, Odom, Kenegeda Medura. Every time I read this word, Tanura Bonon, I'm reminded by the great Maisa of Reb Chaim Shmulevitz. I think it's Reb Chaim Shmulevitz. He's walking by in the Beis Medrash, and two Bachrim that were spacing out, they're just talking shtusim. They see Reb Chaim Shmulevitz walking by. So as soon as he walked, Tanura Bonon. So he looked at them and he said, Rabbi Sai, it doesn't say Tanura Bonon in the whole Masechtas Nedarim. And he kept on walking. Anyway, Tanura Bonon. Tanura Bonon. Mischamim Adam Keneged Medura v'Yoytze, because they were learning. Obviously, they were learning the Dharm then, and he got them. Mischamim Adam Keneged Medura v'Yoytze u'mishtatev b'tzoinen. Listen to this: a person could heat himself up by the fire. V'Yoytze u'mishtatev b'tzoinen. So yesterday we're learning, right, that a person should not take clothing and heat it up by the fire. If he heats up clothing by the fire and then he bakes an egg on it, that's a issa deraisa of mevashel. So what if he does, instead of clothing, he does it to his own body? He heats his body up by the fire, and then he pours water on himself. So now you just cook the water. It's not a problem. But what you're not allowed to do is the opposite. You're not allowed to take a cold shower, let's say pour cold water on yourself. Why not? Why can't I take cold water, put it in my body, and then go in front of a fire and heat the water up? You're not going to believe this. Says Rashi, because now I'm bathing in hot water. I'm not allowed to bathe in hot water. See, what's the problem? In a few minutes, we're going to learn that you're allowed to take cold water and put it in front of a flame. Make sure it's not that cold. A lot of people don't like freezing cold water that comes out of the machine. They like it room temperature. So you're allowed to take cold water and put it right across from a flame and warm it up. You're allowed to. So why can't I take water, cold water, pour it on my body, and then heat my body up in front of a flame? What's the problem? It's the same thing. Says Rashi, there's a new isser here. There's an isser of warming up, of being roichetz your body with hot water. We said you're not allowed to wash your body with hot water. Now you're washing your body with hot water. Very interesting. There's another interesting halacha I saw. It might have been a Gela Maisa. Did you know that you're not allowed to, it's a problem to come out of a river on Shabbos, come out of a river. We don't go to the river anyways. We don't go swimming on Shabbos. We have a minute not to do it. It's brought down in the Mishnah Berurah and Shulchan Aruch. We have a minute. But you're allowed to, really. So a guy goes into the river and he walks. The Shulchan Aruch says that that's carrying. All that water that's on him is carrying. And I'll walk 4 hours. I just thought it's very interesting. People don't pay attention. So what about when you walk in the rain? You're carrying, not such a problem because it's not that much, whatever, because you're wearing clothing. But if it got all over you, he says even if it soaks in your body, it's not such a problem. But who would ever think about such a thing? If you were, let's say, walking naked in the rain, it would be a problem of carrying on Shabbos. If you're Rosh Hashanah. Here's another interesting thing. What? You have other problems besides Shabbos, yes. Here's another interesting thing. Let's say you have one of these machines that makes hot air on Shabbos. You're in a hotel and the machine is going like it's just going nonstop. And you washed your hands, al natilas yadayim. Now you want to use this thing. I don't know what other isurim it could be. But here's a problem, because now you just heated up the water. Is that a problem? Yes, no. Avi says it's a problem. So does his father-in-law, Dr. Epstein. Okay. Nachman says not. Okay. But who's that? Is that Ari Seltzer? I can't see your face, but it says Nachman there. Yeah, it's Ari Seltzer. Ari Seltzer says it's not a problem. Anyway, according to the Rosh, it's a problem.
Hey, Eli,
Yes.
what's the...
What does he have? Does Eli Kamiansky have a like one of these not muted mics kind of thing? Has a special...
Upgraded to Zoom Plus over here.
Somebody just locked him
No,
out.
his screen,
He has protection. He has protection.
his screen is just right under mine, so I can hit the unmute button.
Yeah, what are you saying, Eli? I didn't hear what you said.
No, the problem with heating up water is because you're changing its like the molecular composure of the water. Because like freezing does the same thing, no?
No, I didn't say that. I said the opposite. That's not the problem. The problem, Eli, is that you're bathing yourself in hot water, and that's awesome. Not because you change the molecular composition of the water. That's what I would think. But Rashi says that the problem is that you're bathing in hot water. You're not allowed to bathe in hot. You're allowed to change the composition of the hot water. That's what I said. You're allowed to take a cup of freezing cold water and put it in front of a fire and warm it up, as long as it doesn't become really hot. That's next sugya. You're allowed to change the composition. You're not allowed to bathe in hot water. So therefore, the Rosh says that if you have cold water on your hands and you put it in front of those hand dryers on Shabbos, you're over on bathing your hands in hot water. Right? You're allowed to bathe your hands in hot water that it was heated up before Shabbos, but not on Shabbos, and that's hot water that was heated up on Shabbos. All right, next.
Where are you going, Nachman?
Don't unmute him. I want to get him soon. When he comes back, I gotta. Okay. Watch this. If you want to see Nachman Seltzer get really mad, watch what I'm going to tell him in a second. Somebody tell me when he's on. Don't unmute him. Don't. Thank you. We finished with that sugi. Yeah. Okay. Meicham Odom Aluntis. What's an aluntis? Look at Rashi. Look at this. 5 lines down. Aluntis? Towel. Tiula, says Rashi. I guess that means a towel in French. It's like our English. Tiula. Aluntis is a towel. I could heat up a towel on Shabbos. I don't know, I haven't seen this in a long time, but my mother, Aleh Shalom, when I had a stomach ache, she would give me one of these red hot bottles that, you fill it up with boiling water, you put it on your stomach. It felt good. Okay? I don't know. Do people still do that today? I haven't seen it in a long time. But you're allowed to take a hot towel and put it on your stomach on Shabbos. Ubevad shelo yovi kumkumoy shel mayim chamim v'yanichenu al bnei ma'ayim b'Shabbos. Why can't you take a kettle of hot water and put it on your stomach? Well, there's a problem of sakana. It's very hot. It's a hot kettle. So that's what the Gemara says in a second, that you can't do that even on the weekday. But there's another problem. What if some of the hot water spills out onto your stomach? Now you're bathing with hot water on Shabbos. And that's a problem, according to Rashi. According to Tosfos, the problem is schita. You might come to absorb the water in a towel. Or because it's like medicine. Medicinal purposes is also. What's the big nafkamina between Rashi and Tosfos? According to Rashi, the problem is that you might come to bathe yourself on Shabbos. So what about one of those plastic, those rubber bottles that you fill up with water? It's not going to spill on you. It's securely closed. So according to Rashi, it should be okay. But according to Tosfos, if it's refuah, it might be a problem. That's what they say. Says the Gemara, maybe Adam Kitoim Mayim Umanichoi Keneged Amdura. Hold on a second, my boys. I gotta see who else is on here. Oh, these are the other guys. Hillel Abrams, I haven't seen you the whole Yontif. Good evening, good evening. Eliyahu Levine, Shalom Aleichem. Who else? Okay. The regulars. Givaldik. What happened to Nachman Seltzer? I don't see him. Fine. So now we have a little bit of a sugya. Baruch Hashem, I was able to print this out right before the shir. This is courtesy of Ruvain Chait. On Yantiv, I went to his house. I said, listen, I need a favor. I just learned this sugya, and I need a chart, but I'm not going to be able to make the chart myself. Matzi Yantiv, could you please make me the chart? I showed him where it was. There's a chana, whatever, but he did it anyways. Yisrael Meir Simon? No way. Is that him? I can't see. Hold on. Oh, I'm able to. No. What did I just do? I think I just unmuted. Okay, fine. Here he goes. So we have here the sugya. Here's the sugya, and I have a nice chart for it. Hopefully, we'll be able to put it up after the show. I didn't have time even to save it. I just printed it and ran. So this is what I was saying before. You're allowed to heat up cold water on Shabbos by placing it in front of the fire. You're not allowed to make them hot. What's hot? Yatzei ledes. We're going to have this term, the whole sugi and the whole mesechta. Yatzei ledes is when your hand jumps back from it or it burns a baby's stomach. What does that mean in our terms? According to the Chazon Ish, it's 40 degrees Celsius and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And according to Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, it's 46 degrees Celsius, 114.8 Fahrenheit. That's Yatsi Ledes. In other words, make sure that you don't heat up this water to the point that you have Yatsi Ledes, that it's so hot that if you put your hand on it, you'll pull it back, or as the Gemara is going to describe soon, a baby's stomach will get burned from it. Now Rashi says that it's literally, you put the water in front, and make sure it doesn't heat up that amount. But Taisus learns differently. Other Rishonim learn that it means it will never be able to get to that heat. It's a type of heat that can never reach a Yatsi Ledes. Not that you are going to remove it before it achieves the Yatsi Ledes. It's the heat that can never get there. Fine. Comes Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Doimer. Rabbi Yehuda says the same exact thing as the Tana Kama, minus one thing. He's not talking about water, he's talking about oil. So a woman could take this oil and put it right in front of the flame. Not that it should cook, in order to make it lukewarm. Wait a minute, no. The only thing a woman could do is take oil, put it on her hand, and take her hand and put it in front of a flame. But you can't take the whole oil and put it in front of the flame, he says. So let's go to the chart for a second. Could you guys even see what's going on here? Not really. Okay. You have the Tana Kama, we just said. Water you could put in front of a flame as long as it doesn't get hot. Rabbi Yehuda says you could put oil in front of a flame as long as it doesn't get hot. And the Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, no, you can't put it in front of a flame. You can put it on your hand and put your hand in front of the flame. So what does the Tanakama hold when it comes to oil? The Tanakama only talks about water. So we have a machlokes in the Tanakama what he holds. According to Rabbi and Rav Yosef, remember Rabbi and Rav Yosef, these are the two that we said at the end of Brachas. One is Sinai, one is like a harem, they were friends, Rosh Hashivas. They both say that Shemen is not a problem at all according to the Tanakama. Le'atera, Shemen is nothing. Shemen you could even heat up to Yad Siled, it's not a problem. And that's according to the Tanakama. Where Rabbi Yehuda would say, Shemen Yad Siled is also that we learned. And Rabbi Shimon Gamliel also says, Shemen lahafshir is asur. In other words, oil just to make it lukewarm is asur. That's why he says, only put it on your hand. Yes, Gershon.
Eli, if you hold it up straight for a second, I'll be able to capture it on YouTube.
On YouTube, okay. Got it? Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Shkoyach. Okay, right? Reb Shimon Gamliel says you can only put it on your hand. In other words, Reb Shimon Gamliel says, because to make something lukewarm, to make oil lukewarm is considered cooking. Because a lot of people like it like that. Lukewarm is good enough for them to anoint their body with it. So Mela, it's Asur. Fine, what else do we have here? Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says no. According to Tanakama, oil is much worse than water. And therefore, oil, even to warm it up a little bit, is Asur, according to Tanakama. So you have a big machlokes what the Tanakama says about oil. According to Rabbi Rav Yosef, it's 100% mutter. You could even boil it. And according to Rav Yitzchak, you can't even make it lukewarm. Okay. And then we're going to have that they're saying the same thing. Rav Shimon Gamliel and the Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak are saying the exact same thing, and we're going to say the only difference is, beautiful diagram here. If it's kilachar yad, if you did it backwards, you did it like this, is that mutter also? Fine, let's see inside. Iboilu. Shemen ma'ul Tanakama. Since the Tanakama doesn't talk about oil at all he says is you're allowed to warm up cold water. What about oil? And the Gemara is going to explain beautifully how this works. Rabbi Yosef Amar Tarvayu le'teira. Now, usually le'teira means it's mutter. Over here, it means more. It means that oil is so mutter; it's more mutter than water. That you're allowed to even heat up. Where the Tanakama says you could only get rid of the cold, make it lukewarm. According to Rabbi and Rav Yosef, the Tanakama holds by oil. You're allowed to heat it up completely. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Amar li Surah, that shemen, even to get rid of the cold is asur. To make it a little lukewarm is asur. So it's two extremes. Rabbi Rav Yosef Tarbai, the Gemara explains, even if you bring oil to 114 degrees, is mutter. Why? I guess the Tanakama never heard of schnitzel, never heard of potato chips, French fries. What are you going to do with hot oil? Hot oil is nothing. It's not a way to cook, says the Tanakama. Water, you cook water. Food, you cook in water. You need hot water, but not oil. Yes, you could cook with oil. So now we're going to have machlokes. Yes, you could cook with oil, but just making it warm is not cooking. And the manoma that says that making it warm is cooking, because some people need it to wipe their hands down with oil, and they need it to be warm. So we had a similar halacha the other day when it comes to tuna. Remember? Tuna, just hadacha is the gemar malacha. There are people that all they need is a little hot water and they eat it. So made by oil also, there are people that just need a little bit of heat and it makes it perfect for them to use. That is bishul. If that's all you need, that makes it bishul. Right? Tuna fish. Tuna. Some people pour some hot water in it and it's done. That's considered cooking d'oraisa. Why? But I didn't cook it because that's all some people need is a little bit of hot water. So Mamela here also, all I need is a little bit of warmth. That's the cooking for oil according to that Mandomer. Just making it warm. That's all I need in oil to make it mevushal. What did I just skip? And now let's explain Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. The Tanakama who said he was talking about hot water. What does he hold about oil? Li'isura. Now what? Oil, even if it doesn't reach 40 degrees or 46 degrees, asur. You're not allowed to warm it up. Why? Because there is cooking with oil. And here he says mafurish. What's considered cooking with oil? Making it lukewarm. Why? Because there are people that need lukewarm oil to smear all over their body. And that's considered bishul. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no, there is cooking, but it's not lukewarm. So now Rav Shimon Gamliel just mimics exactly what Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says. Shimon Gamliel says oil is cooking, and getting to lukewarm is enough. Rav Shimon Gamliel had a Tanakama, so they're saying the same thing. So that's the concept in the whole Masechta Shabbos. If I do it on the opposite side of my hand, instead of doing a malacha like this, I do it like this. So I'm doing the oil with the back side of my hand. In other words, not the natural way. Reb Shimon Gamliel says that's mutter to use, and the Tanakama says it's asur. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel, echod shemen ve'echod mayim yad tzoledes boy asur. So now halacha l'maisa, oil and water, if it reaches 40, 46 degrees, asur. You're not allowed to warm it up like that. And yad tzoledes boy mutter. You're allowed to warm up water and make sure that it doesn't get to yad tzoledes. You want a good, because what's going on? There are people that have thick skin. There are people that have thin skin. Some people have large hands, small hands. Each person is different. Look, the guy that works in the matzah bakery could stick his whole body into the oven for 5 minutes and he doesn't get burnt. You ever walk 10 feet away from that oven, you want to die. And these guys are sitting there all day long. They go like this and they touch the metal. Nothing. They take matzah out of the oven and they put it here. All these women that cook, right? They don't get burnt when but us men, we're sensitive. We have these sensitive hands. So how are you going to say Yatzei Ledes? What does Yatzei Ledes mean? Each person is a different individual. Babies are usually the same. They have very sensitive skin, and that skin, when it burns, that's the degree. So Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says it means 46 degrees, and the Chazon Ish says 40 degrees, or in English it's 100 in Fahrenheit, it's 114 degrees to Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and 104 degrees Fahrenheit so what? It's a little bit more than what we have. What are we? We're 97 degrees, so just a few more degrees above that is already something that you would yank your hand away. Yatzei Ledes. Omer Rav Yizim Ba'avdimi. Pamachas nichnasti. David Feinberg is getting ready to sing a song. Pamachas nichnasti achar Rebbe lebeis hamerchatz. I walked into Rebbe. Rebbe was going to Beis HaMerchatz. What kind of Beis HaMerchatz are we talking about here? Chamei Tveria. As the Gemara is going to prove soon. Rebbe was already in a generation, not in the beginning of his life, but later on, where there's already Gzeira. But you could go to the natural hot springs. So I saw him in the hot spring. Ubikashti lo haniach lo pach shel shemen bambati. I wanted to do him a favor, so I took a flask of oil. I wanted to put it into the mikvah, warm it up for him. V'amar li, toil b'kli sheni v'ten. You know what? Take water out of the bath. It'll be a kli sheni. It'll be a second kli, right? Like when you make coffee on Shabbos, you don't take directly. You don't pour from the urn directly. You take it into. You have to do a kli sheni. We had yesterday, 2 days ago, I forgot to mention, it said over there, where was it? On Daf Lamed Chesam of the Beis, I think. Can't find it now. Where was it? Maybe it was even Lamed Chesam of the Beis. I remember there was a thesis there I forgot to mention that they're talking about klisheni and not klisheni, because it says over there you could put it, you could be mediach, lo mishaneh, but whatever. Hopefully we'll get to it a different time. But the concept of klisheni. So says the Gemara, Rebbe tells him, listen, don't put your flask of oil directly into the bathtub. That will be a problem of cooking on Shabbos, but take water out of the bath into another kli, that's already klisheni, it's not going to cook. Okay. Now, if you notice, we have to pay attention to these words. Because the Gemara, remember these words, toil beklisheni v'tain. He gave him a whole lecture. Where was he? He was undressed in a bathtub, in the Chamei Tveria. And he's telling him halachas. He's telling him, take a klisheni. L'chari, he should have just told him, osir. Or he should have gone, Okay, the Gemara is going to discuss. But it's important to remember these words. Toil beklisheni v'tein. He gave instructions. Shema min otlas. Says the Gemara, you learn 3 halachas from this story. Shema min Hashem yesh bo mishum bishul. Rebbe said, do not warm up the oil. In other words, you could cook with oil. He holds, like the Manda Omar, that oil is something that you use for schnitzel, for other things. Ushma min klisheni enim mevashel. You also see from here that all you need is a klisheni. You don't need a shlishi, revi. Klisheni is enough to take away from the heat. Now, I think it's very important to see this taisus, because a lot of us have this question in our minds. Every time we make coffee, well, what happens? So we put in a klisheni. So what if it's a klisheni? Why is it not cooking? It's extremely hot. I'll burn my hand from it, everybody says, right? So look at Taisus. Shmami no klisheni eni mevashel. Says Taisus. Tema. What is the difference? If your hand jumps back from it, it should be also even a klisheni. And if your hand doesn't jump back, so what's the difference if it's the second kli or the first kli? If the first kli is not hot enough, it's not yatzilez, so make coffee in a kli rishon. Why do you need a klisheni? V'shleimai says a big yisoider about klisheni. Lefishi kli rishon mitoich sha'amad ala ur dafnoisav chamin umachzik chumo izma meruba. Because it's on the fire, its walls are hotter. So we don't go by the temperature of the water. We're considering the actual kli. And the kli and the heat of the kli, because it was on the fire, it gives off more heat and is able to assist the water in its cooking. They gave a shear of Yatziledis. Al klisheni, avagav the Yatziledis boy mutter. You hear what he says? He says that a klisheni, even if it'll burn a baby's skin, and your hand is so scared of it, it'll jump back, you're still allowed to cook with it. Why? Because it doesn't have the ability to cook, because it doesn't have the hot walls. It needs the hot cup, and that it doesn't have. Okay, you say to remember in life. Ushmamina, and the third thing we learn from Rebbe's story, Hefsheroi zu bishuloi. Just warming up oil is considered cooking it, because we had a machlokes before. What's lukewarm? Is that cooking with oil? That's not cooking. According to Rebbe, that's cooking because he told him not to do so. Ask the Gemara, how did Rebbe talk in the Beis HaMerchatz? You're allowed to think in learning everywhere. Chutz, Beis HaMerchatz, Beis HaKisei. You're allowed to think in learning. But in Beis HaMerchatz, in a bathhouse, you're not allowed to even think in learning. Certainly, you shouldn't talk in learning. You shouldn't tell somebody different halachas. Maybe he said it in Aramaic, in English. If you're in a dirty place, or in a place like a Beis HaMerchatz, if you're just saying stam stuff, you say, buy me a pizza, So you're allowed to say in Lashon Kodesh, Tikna li bivakosha pizza. You're allowed to say that in Hebrew because it's chayil. You're not saying anything special. Shel Kodesh asalam b'lashon chayil. But if you're talking in learning, you're not allowed to talk in learning in English, even in the bathhouse. What's the difference? What language? It's Torah. Torah, you're not allowed to talk in bathhouse. Says the Gemara, the obvious answer, Afrushim Yisuri Shani. He was trying to prevent them from being over Issa D'Oraisa of Bishul, of cooking. So he told them, don't cook. Now the Chiddush is, so that was obvious, but the Chiddush is that he added words. He didn't just say, Osir. He said, by the way, use a klisheni, and if you use a klisheni, it's okay. And that's enough. That's part of La Frushim Yisur. That's considered a Frushim Yisur. He says a few words, and like this he knows not to be over Yisur. There's a story with the Talmud of Rameir. Rameir's Talmud went, followed him to the bathhouse. Now he's a good Talmud, so he wanted to do a little sponja right in front of Rameir. So he told him, in the Beis HaMerchatz, he said, he spoke in learning. You're not allowed to do sponja. Why aren't you allowed to do sponja? Because it's mashve gumos. You know, in those days, they had like mud on the floor, so you're smoothing it out. What's wrong with smoothing it out? It's baina. So the guy says, oh, I can't do sponja? Fine. Let me pour some nice smelling oil, so get rid of this disgusting smell here. I'm going to pour some oil on the ground. So he says, no, can't do that either. Also, same problem. You're allowed to talk in learning if it's to prevent somebody from doing an Aveira. Hachanami by Rebbe, Lafrushim Yisur Shani. Omer Avino, Shmamino, Hamevashel B'chamitfer B'Shabbos Chayav. You see from here, because Rebbe, as the Gemara is going to prove, was in the springs of Tveria, so you're not allowed to cook in the springs of Tveria. What would be the reason you're not allowed to cook in the springs of Tveria? Going back to what we said yesterday, remember we had the question, thumbs up, thumbs down. Daddy Kornbluth did thumbs up and down instead of sideways. Because Chamei Tveria is fire. You have to hold that Chamei Tveria is fire, and that's why you're not allowed to cook with it on Shabbos. If you hold Chamei Tveria is heated up by the sun, that would be a problem. That wouldn't be a problem. The Maiso the Rebbe Lachik Zera Hava. The story of Rebbe was after the Gzeira. So Rashi says, because Reb Shua ben Levi, who said the Gzeira, lived in the time of Rebbe. So obviously in the time of Rebbe, there was a Gzeira already. Where